are the champion, the one that holds the line and finishes the mission. Everything that you want is within your grasp. You wake up in the morning ready to dominate the day, and every step taken is with purpose and integrity. Because you were not put on this planet to live a mediocre existence. You are here to conquer and make the biggest impact possible, not only for yourself, but for your family and for your tribe. This world is a battlefield, and we will be victorious. This is the Norse mentality.
What's up, guys? I hope that you are having a glorious day. Welcome back to the Norse mentality. It's been a few weeks. We have been out of commission. That's the best way that I can put it. We've been getting a ton of messages, people worried that the podcast is no longer going to happen, all these different things. And the reality of it is that we've just been sick as all actual hell. First, Cody got sick, and then I got sick, and my kid got sick, and then we had a bunch of stuff going on with Norse.
We're at OSG.
We're at OSG, supporting the team down there. So yeah, we've just been super busy, super sick. As you can probably still tell in my voice, I've been hacking up a lung every day, but it seems to be getting a little bit better. So anyways.
You sound much better than you did.
Yeah, I can still tell it's like nasally, but if I have a whole cough attack and I die on this episode, well, there you go.
I'll just keep it going.
Yeah, just keep it going, Cody. Cody's going to keep the flame alive. But with that being said, we wanted to kind of switch gears and everything with the podcast because we are moving into a new year. We have about 1 month left before 2023, which is very exciting, but this is also a time when people start overloading their plate. You know, they start getting very ambitious about what they want to accomplish going into the new year. And because they overstack their plate with a bunch of different goals that they want to accomplish, they usually don't end up accomplishing anything. And this is something that I have done in the past as well. When I used to make, goals for the new year, it used to be like 20 to 30 long. And then over the years, I've realized I'm going to choose 3 to 5 things. And usually there's a financial one, a physical one, a spiritual one, maybe something with my family, something like that. But either way, I keep it between 3 to 5 and I put them into different categories because I can tackle each one of these things every single day. But it's getting tunnel vision. I think that's the most important part here because when we don't have tunnel vision on 1 to 3 things, then we don't really have focus. You can't have focus in a bunch of different areas. We need to get tunnel vision and have absolute intensity on what we want to accomplish. And that's what we're going to talk about on this episode because it is very important. And if we want to accomplish these goals in 2023, then we need to attack it with everything we fucking have. Like when I look at goals, I get obsessed about it. I write them down every morning and every night, which is the first thing that I would recommend people do. You do it in the morning. That way you're setting yourself up for success. That is going to kind of guide the ship throughout the day. And then at night, you write it down again. And that way your subconscious can start putting in the work because 95% of our behaviors are controlled by our subconscious. And that's kind of a scary thing to think about. 95% of what you do throughout the day, you don't even realize that you're doing. But if you program yourself, and that's a fun thing to talk about, which that's probably what we're about to dig into for a bit. But you can reprogram yourself and your subconscious mind to move you towards your goals without you really thinking about it anymore. How do you approach New Year goals?
I do not wait until January or the last week of December to start my planning.
No.
Because if you do wait till January, you're already starting behind.
That is something that bothers me. Because we have a gym called the Norse Compound here in Concord, and we have people that will start hitting us up in October, sometimes even September, and they'll want to check out the gym. And they'll say, yeah, I'm just kind of looking around that way once January rolls around. Like, you have 3 to 4 months. You have 3 to 4 months, and you're putting this off. You can get started right now. What is stopping you from getting started on your goals right now? Even with Norse, if we accomplish a goal, say 6 months early, we make a new goal and we continue moving forward. Even if there's, say, 2 more months left of the year, we're going to go ahead and start working towards that goal. Why would you put it off?
Those 2 months set you way ahead of the game already for 2023.
Yeah, you already start building momentum. And that's the beautiful thing with it. If you can start building momentum going into the new year, you crush it. And you're starting yourself off with success.
I think a lot of that is mindset driven too. a lot of people may think like, well, I'll get started in January because it is a brand new year. I can kind of just get rid of 2022 or this past year and just start fresh.
It's 100% like a mindset trigger. Oh, it's a new year, so I can do this now. Well, what is stopping you from applying that at any time throughout the year? How about it's a new day? It's a new day, so I'm going to start tackling this new goal. And that is something that you can program yourself to do as well. Instead of procrastinating, because that's all that is. If you're waiting 3 to 4 months to start something because of a number on a calendar, you're procrastinating. And procrastination is a habit that you can eliminate. And the best way to eliminate that habit is to just start right now. Okay, cool. I want to start working out. I don't work out right now. I want to start working out. So I'm going to start doing that tomorrow. Maybe even next week. Okay, it's Wednesday, starting Monday. I'm gonna go hit up the gym. I'm gonna start working out 3 to 4 days a week. Or you want to start cleaning up your diet. What is stopping you from getting on a new diet right now? Just start eating healthy. You go to sleep one night, you wake up the next morning, I'm not eating shit today. That is definitely something that you can just start doing, but it's procrastination. That's all it is. But it's when you can get started early, you're setting yourself up for success. You're building that momentum and you're tackling your goals while everyone else is just bullshitting around. You're ahead of the competition. We're surrounded by competition. And I don't mean that in a harsh way.
Yeah, not a comparative sense either.
No, it's not comparative or anything, but at the same time, it's motivation. Because we are playing a game here. All of life is a game. Every aspect of life is about survival and playing a game, especially the man-made world. The world that we live in now, I like to think of it as man got bored. We kind of mastered, the survival thing. We're like, you know what? Let's create a game. Let's just create a game of our creation, and we're just going to do what we want to do. And there's going to be different classes, different hierarchies here, and there's going to be competition. You are competing against someone, either if it's with finances, if you're at your job, if it's in the gym, maybe there's someone stronger than you. That doesn't mean that you cannot support that person. And I think that's something important to discuss. Say you and me are working towards the same goal. I don't want you to fail. You're my bro. I want you to succeed. Absolutely. But at the same time, I want to succeed more than you. And I think that's a good mindset to have. It's that friendly competition, right? If you can get together with your group of friends and you have a group of friends that are just ambitious and motivated and you guys are always pushing each other, especially in the gym or even at work or whatever it is, that's super motivating. Do you do that?
I do in a sense, but I don't. You have to be in a different mindset to think like that. It can't be like, I want to be more successful than you, so I'm going to, do some shady shit or
No, you can never
make it like a true fight to the death competition. You have to have an intelligence level to accept that this is not a life or death thing, that we're just going to push each other. And if you do better than me at something, I'm not going to have this form of jealousy. Or if I do better at you than something, you're not going to try to bring me back down.
Oh, absolutely not.
Just to get ahead of the game. So I think it definitely takes a different level of intelligence to be that way. But yeah, me and my friends all want to see each other do better. So we do challenge each other and make sure our head is out of our ass and we're continuously moving forward.
Right. And that's all it is. So say you and me are squatting in the gym. We're both going for a new squat PR. I'm going to support you. I want you to hit that squat PR. But I'm also going to try to out-squat you just because.
I also want you to try to out-squat me,
right,
because I want you to do better.
Exactly.
Because if you do better, I do better.
Exactly.
And I do better, you do better.
But it's realizing that it's having fun with it. I think that's what it boils down to. When it comes to any of this stuff, we can't forget to have fun with it. We can't take it too fucking seriously. I've done that in the past, even with business, working out, all this stuff. I took it way too seriously and it ruined it. And I think that's what causes burnout. Whenever you're just so strict about it and you're not allowing yourself to have any fun, your workouts suffer, your mindset suffers, your recovery suffers because you're not even able to sleep at night because you're so worried about what's going to happen the next day. Just have fun with it, but have fun with it in almost an aggressive way. And when I say aggressive, I'm not talking about anything bad here. It's just I don't know. What's the best way to put it?
You need to get aggressive about your goals, but not like physically aggressive about it towards somebody, you know?
Yeah. And I don't want this episode to be about competition, but either way, hopefully that is the point here, right? Is getting started as soon as possible towards your goals, but it's also developing this plan of attack. It's, okay, we are at the end of November right now. We have 5 to 4 weeks left of the year by the time this episode drops. You have the rest of this month to really figure out what you want. Like, don't rush into this. Take the next month to figure out what you want to accomplish. You can write a list of 20 things if you want. That's okay. But then go through that list and start getting rid of things. Is this really that important? No. You need to narrow it down as much as possible. And this is every aspect of your life. If you can get tunnel vision on one specific thing and you devote all of your attention to that and you attack it every single day with everything that you have, guess what's going to happen? You're going to accomplish that so much quicker. What made sense to me finally with this was a few years ago, and it was with business actually. And it was, I was thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I have all these different things going on. I had like 4 businesses at the time. And I was like, okay, well, what's the quickest way to get from point A to point B? It's in a straight line. Well, every time that I decide to start a new business or create a new product instead of focusing on improving this product or whatever it is, I'm going up and down. It's going to take me longer to get from point A to point B. That can be applied to every aspect of life. If you can just focus on one single thing, and like I said, you can divide that into different aspects of your life. You can have a physical one, a spiritual one, a financial one, a family one. Those important things right there. But these are all things that you can split up throughout the day. But just have one goal for each category of your life that you want to improve on. And then just give that everything that you have. Don't worry about making all these other goals, because here's the thing too. Say you knock out this one goal in 3 months, which I hope that you do. I don't want it to take anyone a year to accomplish something. If it does, that's completely okay. You need to have patience with these kind of things because it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to lose 20 or 30 pounds in a month. You're not going to make a bunch of damn money overnight, because if you do, guess what? You're probably going to lose it overnight as well. It's kind of like whenever people go on these drastic weight loss plans, right? And they might lose a bunch of damn weight, but as soon as they start eating again because they've been starving themselves, they gain more weight. You want this to be a slow and gradual process to a certain extent, but at the same time, you need to give it everything that you have, and you need to have tunnel vision on it. And you need to wake up every morning and be like, okay, this is what I want to accomplish. Nothing else matters. There's going to be all these different shiny things that look appealing, especially if you get on social media and you see that someone has this or they're doing this or whatever. Fuck them. They don't matter. That's their life. Good for them. I hope that they accomplish everything that they want to accomplish. I hope everyone in this world does. But at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is what I need to accomplish, because that is the only thing I have control over. Now, if a friend comes to me and they need help with something, of course, I'm going to help them. But what you think about is what creates your reality. I'm going to repeat that again. What you think about throughout the day is what creates your reality. And if you can just think about that one thing, maybe it's hitting a new deadlift PR. You want to deadlift 600 pounds. Right now you're at 500. And you just get obsessed with that. Okay, I'm going to deadlift 600 pounds within the next 6 months. And that's all you think about. You're not worried about all this other things. You're not worried about losing weight. That's your only goal in the gym is to deadlift 600 pounds. Or maybe it's to do your first Muay Thai fight. You can split this up. Or maybe it's to, save a bunch of money to put in your bank account. That way you don't have to worry about money anymore. You can actually experience freedom, because that's where freedom comes from, is not having to worry about money anymore. Instead of every time you get a little bit of money, instead of spending it thinking that you need to, just put it away. Don't increase your living standard. Just keep living at the same standard, but have that extra money. That's how you get freedom, right? But whenever you can get tunnel vision on one specific thing, and that's all you think about, that is how you reprogram your subconscious mind. And once again, the subconscious mind controls 95% of our behavior throughout the day. When I'm laying in bed at night, I'm thinking about this one goal that I want to accomplish. I have been thinking about the same goal with Norse for going on 2 years now. We've yet to hit this goal, but because I write it down every day, I talk to you guys about it every day. We all have tunnel vision on one specific thing, and we will not shift focus until we accomplish this one goal. And then once we hit that, cool. What's next? There's always something what's next. But going back to, say, if you accomplish this goal in 3 to 6 months, great. That's amazing. Set a new goal. Say you accomplish it by May. Okay, cool. I still have the rest of 2023. I'm going to accomplish even more than I wanted to in the first place. But that's a lot better than overstacking your plate and not accomplishing anything. Have you done that in the past?
Yeah, I definitely have. That's why I create, different levels of goals for myself. I kind of use the end of the previous year as like a preparatory phase. We're gathering resources to go into this new goal, new year, new mindset, but I do set weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly goals. So I don't give myself the entire year and procrastinate until, I want to do this one thing. Well, it's February and March, I've got the rest of the year to do it. A lot of people, I feel like they plan out, this yearly goal, and then, well, things happen at the beginning of the year. Well, I couldn't do anything to get to accomplishing that goal. Well, summer's here, it's summertime. Like I really want to enjoy my life during the summer. It's warm. We can go to the lake, go to the pool, and then October comes around and then you've got 3 months to get this one thing done that you've been putting off for the rest of the year.
And then they give up on it and they postpone it till the next year. And that's why people continue writing down the same goal. Actually, most people don't even write down their goals, and that's their first mistake. But most people have the same goal every year for the past 10 years. And it's because of exactly what you just said. They give themselves an entire year to accomplish it. Why? Accomplish that son of a bitch as soon as possible. Be patient with it. It's not going to happen overnight, but try to knock it out by May. That way you still have another 6 months to make a new goal. We need to stop putting so much emphasis on this date on the calendar. Like, I really encourage everyone here to do exactly what you just said. Daily, weekly, monthly. And that's the thing, is if you have a big goal, you're going to have to break that down into bite-sized pieces. Okay, cool. We'll use the deadlift example again. I want to deadlift 600 pounds in the gym. Right now I'm at 500. Well, first I need to deadlift 525 pounds. Then I can do 550. Then I can do 575. And then I can do 600. But here's the beautiful thing about that is you're stacking victories, and then you're building momentum and you're building motivation. Oh shit, I just deadlifted 550 pounds. I'm only 50 pounds away from this new goal. And I did this within 4 months. I'm definitely going to hit this before the end of the next year. Absolutely amazing. Sick. Let's do that. But when you can break it down into smaller goals to work towards a bigger goal, that's how you gain that motivation. That's how you build that momentum. You're always stacking victories. And that's where that drive comes from, right? Is seeing little progress here and there. And I don't think people take enough time to realize how far they've come. And I'm terrible about that. But every once in a while, I will take a step back and be like, we've came a lot further than I thought we have.
Those small goals, those small steps, you learn to appreciate them so much more than just setting a big goal and like taking 6 months to get there. Like when you break it down into monthly, quarterly goals, you can check that off once you get to that bar. Like, hey man, like you said, like I deadlifted 525. All right, that's a check mark. That's a win. I can do this. I just have to do it in 25-pound increments and not 100.
And whenever you do that, it's a lot less overwhelming. And that's why breaking them down is so beneficial, is because you're not going to be overwhelmed. And each time that you hit this new victory, you conquer this new little goal leading up to the big goal, you're building confidence. And you're going to, with each step, you're going to be like, I got this. Because it might have seemed pretty overwhelming in the beginning, because you should set big goals for yourself. But at the same time, set small goals to work up to that big goal.
I think it's going to cut out a lot of discouragement. Because if you just set a big goal and look at that every day, you're going to be like, shit, I got some work to do.
Yeah.
And you're going to get discouraged eventually when you're not seeing the progress that you've made towards that.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest part there, is set that big goal, but break it down. Break it down into manageable pieces. And tackle one at a time with the end goal in mind, the insight. Like, you know where you're heading. You have that roadmap. You developed your plan of attack. You know exactly what needs to get done in order for you to get there. And then just focus on one step at a time. Because that one step at a time, it compounds. You're still moving forward, and that is all that matters. It may not be as fast as you want to be. It probably won't be, because we are impatient as fuck. We are never moving as fast as we want to. But when you look back, and if you've been moving forward every single day, just a little bit, you're working towards that goal just a little bit every single day, and you look back 6 months from now, and you go, holy shit, I've came a lot further than I wanted to. Then you get amped up. That fire inside of you is lit, and you're feeding that. And then guess what? You still have another 6 months, but now you're more motivated now because you've already accomplished all these little goals. Okay, cool. I'm more motivated now in June than I was back in January. And it's finding little mental tools like that, because that's all this boils down to, is reprogramming your mind, right? And it's knowing how the human mind works and knowing how your mind works. And that's why self-reflection and that inner work is so important, because each one of us are different. The way that I think is not the same way that you think. My reality is different than your reality. Our goals are different and all these different things. But at the end of the day, the human mind is very similar. And when you can learn how your mind works through reflection, meditation, time alone, time out in nature, getting to really know yourself, then you can start tweaking things. Okay, this is how I would usually approach this. I would set a huge goal, I would get overwhelmed, and then I would give up within a month or two. Well, how do I avoid doing that? I set smaller goals leading up to the big goal. That way I'm stacking victories every few weeks. I'm building this momentum. I'm moving forward one step at a time. Eventually, you're going to get to that end destination if you're moving forward a little bit every single day.
I like what you said about what works best for you. I think a lot of people don't take the time to really cater a plan, cater something to themselves. They try to follow what someone else has done, and they get very discouraged because it's not what they need, right, or not what they need to do. Because like you said, everybody functions differently. And if you're trying to follow step by step what someone else has done, that's not you.
No. And that's the thing with self-help, man, is this is a self-help podcast, I guess, even though we're classified as education. We're like in the top of the charts in education somehow. I don't know. I didn't decide that, but Spotify and Apple did. Either way, I would consider this a self-help podcast. All me and Cody do, and the guests that we bring onto the show, the only thing that we do is share our personal experiences. And that's why I always have a guest on here. Very rarely do I ever do a solo episode. It's because I want two different perspectives, because they're going to be different. Maybe you'll take a little bit from me, and you'll take some from Cody, and then you'll go listen to a different podcast, and they're talking about the same thing, but it's different as well. And then you'll read a couple books, you'll talk to some friends, and then you can gather what might work best for you. But how do you get there if you never take the time to figure out who you are, how you work, how your current mental program is, and what you need to do to override that program to become the best version of yourself?
This is about accomplishing a goal, but this is also about creating habits that create longevity so you conquer every goal moving forward.
And that's the thing, is you can develop that as part of your identity. There has not been any time in the past, I would say at least the past 7 years, where I did not have a constant goal that I was working towards. And now the first couple years, they took a lot longer because I didn't know the tricks and stuff that I do now. I also didn't, the most important part, I did not know who I was as much as I do now. Back when I was 25, I had no idea who the fuck I was. I still don't. And I'm hoping by the time, I'm 90, I might have a pretty good idea of it. But either way, I'm always learning more about myself. And the more that I learn about myself, the more I can discover these destructive habits that are holding me back. And then I can get rid of those destructive habits and reinforce them with good habits. And I can learn these different tricks by reading books, talking to friends, listening to podcasts, whatever it is. I'm a absolute whore for information.
I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, because I'm like super serious and I just drop I'm a whore.
Absolute whore. For
But either way, like I am.
I like that.
But
I
that's
like that,
why
yeah.
is because I'm a whore for information is because the more information that I can gather, I can pick and choose what's going to work best for me. Now, I haven't always written down my goals every morning and every night. That is something I picked up along the way, but that has been an absolute game changer for me. It's like I said, that goal with Norse. This is the only goal I have not accomplished yet in the past 2 years. Everything else I've accomplished, those goals plus more. This goal with Norse, I write it down 2 times every single day. And because I write it down every day, I'm always on track. But most people, they don't even write their goals down once. They make a mental note. Oh, I want to accomplish this year. Do you know how busy your mind is? Do you know how distracted we are throughout the day? But that's the thing is like, if you are a forgetful person, some people are more than others. I'm a complete scatterbrain, dude. My brain is always all over the place. I have to write these things down. That way I don't, because I'm always coming up with new ideas. I'm always wanting to try new things. And then I have to pump the brakes. It's like, no, this is the only thing I'm focusing on. And then once I accomplish this, cool, I can move on to one of these other ideas. But this is the only thing I'm focusing on. And it's because I write it down and I talk about it. Now, when it comes to talking about goals, let's go ahead and dive into that too just a little bit, because why not? I'm weird about this. Notice how I keep saying the goal with Norse, but I don't ever actually say what it is, right? I have physical goals. I don't post about it. Very few people know what those physical goals are. I have, of course, financial goals. Why not? It's part of the game. I have goals with my family, what I want my future to look like. I don't talk about it. There's very few people that I do. And the reason for that is because I want that to be held within. I do not want that energy to be put outwards into the world. I want my actions to make an impact. I want my actions to be like a fucking tsunami hitting every single thing that I come into contact with. But as far as that internal goal, that goal that I'm always thinking about, you have to keep that to yourself as much as possible. Because every time you talk about it, what that does as well is it triggers to your brain, oh, I've accomplished something. These people that get on social media and that's the first thing they do is talk about accomplishing their goals. I'm going to accomplish this. Well, what that does to the brain is it makes you think that you already accomplished it, especially when people get on there because they want to be great friends, great family members. They want to support you. They go, oh, that's absolutely amazing. Good for you. Well, you're getting a dopamine release from that. I don't want to get a dopamine release from a goal unless I'm accomplishing that fucking goal. But that gets to know, that's knowing yourself as well. Because I realized that. I used to post about my goals. I used to talk about them because that's what everyone does, right? And then I realized it's like, why do I feel like I did something and I didn't do anything at all? It's because I was putting that energy out there. I was no longer holding that inside. It was no longer feeding my fire. I put it out into the world and then it just dispersed. And then my brain went, oh yeah, we accomplished something because someone told us good job. Good job for what? For posting about it? For talking about it? I didn't fucking do anything yet. So I like to work quietly. Just chip away at it as much as possible. And then even when I accomplish the goal, I don't post about it. I don't talk about it. I just move on to the next goal.
You're also going to avoid a lot of distraction and negative energy from people, you know?
Well, that's the thing too. Some people are going to be very supportive and some people are going to be fucking bitter and they're going to be very shitty about it and they're going to try to derail you. And unless you are a very confident individual, you're going to be derailed and you're going to give up. And unfortunately, man, it's usually friends and families that will do that the most.
The bigger the goal, I feel like the more that comes, because what people are going to do is they're going to project their fears. Oh, I just don't want you to fail. Oh, well, that's a really big goal. Have you really thought about this?
Well, you know what it boils down to as well? They can't do it themselves and they know that. They hate themselves, so they're going to project that energy onto you in the form of hatred because they know that they can't do it, so they don't want you to do it either. It's shitty, but that's the way that most people are. So just keep it to yourself. Write it down every day. I cannot stress that enough. I know I've said it 20 times so far in this episode, and I will continue to say it. We have a whole episode about this, actually. We released it last year around this time. But that's why you write it down every day. You don't have to tell anybody about it. And when you write it down as well, you're sketching it into your brain. That's what handwriting does. You're sketching it into your brain. And that just gets it more ingrained in there. You can even go as far, guys, as to record audio tracks of you repeating this goal. And when you say these goals, talk about it as if you have already accomplished it. Say deadlift PR again. I deadlift 600 pounds. You may not do it yet, but what you're doing, you're telling your subconscious mind, this has already happened. So then it just gets easier for you. You start working towards that because it's no longer a block anymore. So what you can do is you can make an audio track where it's just you repeating, I deadlift 600 pounds. And you can also throw other affirmations in there like, I'm strong as fuck or whatever you want to do. But either way, you can do that. Then you listen to it as you're going to sleep. And as you're drifting into theta, you are the most acceptable to new ideas. Your subconscious mind is, right? And subconscious mind controls 95% of your behaviors. So as you're drifting to sleep, you are in theta. That's when you are most acceptable to new ideas. And if you're listening to this track of you saying what you want to accomplish as if it has already happened, and you do this every single night, you are reprogramming yourself. I've done this so many damn times. I don't think we've ever really talked about this on the podcast, but I do. I have listened. I've started this about 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. It was whenever I really wanted to focus on being a more positive person. So I started listening to these positive affirmation soundtracks for like an hour as I'm drifting off to sleep. And it works. And we all have blocks, right? From our childhood and all this different stuff, because all of our programming is from like the first 7 years of our life, what we observed around us. That's all we are. We're a sponge and we're just taking in all this new information. But as you get older, you start discovering, okay, this programming is not serving me. So I need to get rid of it. Well, how do you get rid of it? You create a new program. You create a new soundtrack that you play in your mind at all times. That's what you're doing at night. When you're drifting off into theta and you're most acceptable to new ideas, you're playing this new soundtrack. You're creating the new version of yourself. And this shit works. There's this guy named Dr. Bruce Lipton. He is kind of the one that like really pioneered this whole idea. And this was like back in the 50s and 60s. Like he was so ahead of his times. And now a lot of people are starting to talk about this kind of stuff. Joe Dispenza and stuff like that does as well. It's another great guy to read into. But either way, that is another amazing tool that you guys can use. You know, write your goals down every day. Create these soundtracks that you play as you're drifting off into theta. A little interesting fact that like when I learned this is like what really solidified it for me. The reason that info commercials are played at night is not because it's like the cheapest time or anything. It's because at night you are in theta. You are most acceptable to new ideas. So these television programs that you are watching at night, at midnight or whatever it is, they're programming you and convincing you to buy their shitty fucking product. And that's why getting on social media at night or even first thing in the morning, because you're still in theta first thing in the morning as well. That's why last 90 minutes of your day, stay off technology. First 90 minutes of your day, stay off technology. And the reason for that is because you are acceptable to new ideas. I do not want anyone putting anything into my fucking head that I did not put in there myself. I'm very strict about this, man. Like, I don't get on my phone at night. I don't get on my phone first thing in the morning. The morning thing is more for dopamine, but same thing. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want my ideas to be me. I'm very careful about what I read because it's the same thing. I'm taking in new information. Well, if I'm reading a book that doesn't align with who I am as a person, my goals, my morals, my values, well, if I read enough stuff like this, or if I watch enough videos like this, I'm going to start acting like this, and this isn't who I am. But we don't realize how impactful this is. And I hope this is like sinking into people because you have control over this and you can use this to your advantage. We know that theta is when we are most acceptable to new ideas. When we lower our brain waves into theta, we are most acceptable to new ideas. Well, at that time, start cramming it full of this information that's going to move you closer to your goals. Cram your brain with this goal that you're going to accomplish. And notice how I said going to. That's how you have to talk to yourself with this kind of stuff as well. I am going to accomplish this. There is no, well, I might or anything like that. No, I am going to fucking accomplish this because I'm a winner, I'm a fucking champion, and I can do anything that I want to do. And that's another habit as well. negative self-talk is a habit. You can get rid of that by reinforcing it with positive self-talk. Whatever you need to say for yourself. The shit I just said, that's how I talk to myself. That's why it is in the beginning of this podcast episode. The whole intro, those are just affirmations. Those are the same affirmations I repeat to myself. I just record them into a microphone. That way everyone else can hear them as well. But it's the same thing. Like, I want people to hear me say that so many times that they start thinking like that, because I know how powerful it is. But it's so important to just get tunnel vision on exactly what you want. Eliminate as many distractions as possible. Eliminate as many new ideas that you want to come up with. If you're working towards something, you accomplish that goal, nothing else. You don't move on to something else. And that's what people do. That's what I've done in the past as well. Shiny object syndrome. Oh, look, well, let's do this instead. No, I committed to this. And also, like, as a man, right? I want to keep my word to myself. That's the most important part there. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to fucking do it, because I am not going to let myself down. Think about it like that. Are you going to let yourself down? Or are you going to stay true to what you said for yourself? Not even anyone else, for you. I said I'm going to do this, so I'm going to do this. I'm not going to jump to another goal every 3 months or whatever, because this one might be a little bit too hard, or maybe I'm not accomplishing it fast enough. No, this is the goal I'm going to reach. But that's why, like, don't rush into this. Take a few weeks to decide what you want to accomplish. Like I said, write down 20 to 30 things if you need to, whatever you want to do, and then start eliminating. No. Okay, these 3 to 5 things in different categories. One goal per category. Physical, financial, family, spiritual. You pick and choose, right? One goal. Get tunnel vision on it and attack that fucking thing like your life depends on it, because it does. Your future depends on it. Your life depends on it. Your family depends on it. Your friends depend on it. That's it.
Thank you for listening to another episode of The Norse Mentality. This podcast is a byproduct of Norse Fitness. We make clothing, fitness accessories, supplements, and other tools to help you reach your true potential. You can check it out at norsefitness.co. And if you found this episode beneficial, please share it with a friend. That way we can continue to make a bigger impact and change the world. Thank you for your support, and we'll talk to you soon.